Hey everyone, it's Live47 here. I've got DFA with me, or Death from Above, for the Tier 8 Tier Maker. How are you doing, DFA?
All good, thank you. Thanks for having me for this second Tier 8 Tier Maker. It was fun last year, so let's see what we can do this year.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a
All
blast.
good.
And I'll be joining you in Parenthood soon. I know you've been enjoying Parenthood yourself, so
Yeah,
well, one soon to be dad and one dad ranking Tier 8.
yeah, it's not as bad as it sounds, but yeah, it's just you get different priorities in your life, and so yeah. But it's you can still manage to produce some content between naps and then
Yeah, that's what I'm planning on doing. I'm doing like,
between
okay, I
naps
want
and
to
data.
stream, but no, I'm probably just gonna be making videos because I'm not gonna have time. So we actually did flip up playable and niche here as well on this one. I think we're just basically doing it for every single one of them this year. I think that's the general consensus. We have put a CVs area because we don't want to
Yeah.
rank them. Who cares? CVs.
Oh, you didn't say that up. No, that's not fair. That's not fair. I'll put the CVs in the correct
Okay,
categories.
okay, I'll delete.
I
I'll
will
delete. Never
guide the
mind. Never
viewer.
mind. We'll do it. We'll do it. We'll do it. We'll change it out. We'll change it out. There we go. Okay.
But
So
we
never
agree that
mind.
most of
Ignore
them will be
me.
overpowered anyway, so don't worry.
DFA is gonna be ranking it, and Dom's gonna be meta. Doesn't matter. So let's get going. Admiral Hipper.
I just like last year, we start with. But you know what the Hipper has going for it is that it's still free. But honestly, with the release of the shield, there's really not a lot of reason to be playing and enjoying that thing anymore, I'm afraid. So yeah, it's playable. It's definitely playable, and yeah, I mean, just grind to the tier 10 because the tier 10 is amazing. But anything in between, yeah.
Skip the tier 9, maybe. Maybe. You might be pulling your hairs out on that one. But
Yeah.
so a little bit of a change up though that we decided actually is we're going to be putting the black ones with the ships and like that. So this is going to be a little bit quicker on that one. At least we're not just going to have a massive black area for black ships because there's a lot of tier 8. Black Admiral Hipper with radar and yeah, with radar and yeah.
I'll put it in Dear God Why actually, because
Oh, how dare you?
I have no idea what you would spend a penny on this one, to be honest. With the release of the shield, if you want a heavy cruiser at the tier, then yeah, there's the one you should be spending money on, to be honest. And to be completely honest, I think it's quite strange that they're giving it a radar at the expense. I think it drops a sonar and a precise aim for a radar, something like that. But I mean, at radar range, you're pretty much useless against DDs anyway with that thing, and yeah, so it's a bit strange. Honestly, there are better candidates to be spending your money if you want a German heavy cruiser at the tier. That would be why. I'll be a bit harsh on the premiums here. So.
I can't disagree with your logic there. I had it actually in competitive just because it is arguably a better Admiral Hipper in terms of being able to spot for itself and everything. But when you've got so many tier 8s, like there's so many good ones and you're going to spend money on this, technically maybe competitive, but why would you take it over so many other ships? Like,
That's yeah.
Akazuki.
This one should get its own category with the champagne, like the stupidly fun category. It's because it's a ton of fun. It's amazing. It's really a ton of fun. And if, I mean, it's I just got the space camo for this one, which makes it look like some kind of floating pink sex toy, whatever. And yeah, it's even it's even weirder. I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, but all these space camos on the Japanese ship, they make them look like they're coming from the wrong shop. So I have no idea what to do with these things.
At least you get the cool tracers, right? Like,
yeah, and it's got some big pink thing in the front, so I don't know. Zao is the most questionable one. I have no idea I would actually insert that thing, but yeah. The Akizuki, if I have to be honest, wouldn't put it in competitive because you get clapped by quite a lot of things, but playable and a lot of fun. It's highly recommended as a ship, and essentially the whole line as of tier 8 is super fun. That's my take on it, yeah. And it's free, yeah, enjoy it.
yeah, I in other tier makers, we kind of talked about the Haragumo line almost being competitive because you can really do a lot with it, but at tier 8, there's so much competition. It's just, even if it is a fun boat, I can't really bring it out of play it.
Yeah,
I
I
really
agree.
can't.
I agree.
That's a hard one. But Alabama, the old tried and true.
Alabama, for me, is somewhere between competitive and meta. To be honest, it's a really really strong boat. What I like about it, so it has it's relatively small. It's like 200 meters, something like that. So I think it's the smallest battleship at the tier, something like that. It hits really hard, and it can actually hit a target with the 3 precise aim things that you're getting. It can bow tank. It's kind of immune to CVs as well. So yeah, it's decently, reasonably mobile. So for me, it's a very very strong ship. If I had to put my money on a premium American battleship at tier 8, it would be this one, to be honest. So I think it's a really solid one. Yeah.
Yeah, if you were to pick one, this is one of the options. I don't know. I think Black Kansas would do it better, but that's more, kind of the flavor of it. But I actually have Alabama in playable just because it is aging a bit. Especially with the Atlantico meta, everything out there. I know EU's kind of a little bit different within that. So, but
it's one of the few ships that can really trash an Atlantico at range. So that's why
so?
I like it, and I'm still playing it on my second account. So it's a really it's the ship I use to test all the tier 8s to tier 10, and to be honest, it can still hold its own against tier 10s in training rooms. So it's a solid one. Yeah.
Okay, I'll give it is tried and true. It is. I do like the precise aim American battleships, anyway. So I can see. I probably need to try it out again then. Probably need to.
If you have a commander ready for it, that's kind of the issue, and then don't have too many precise aim ships. And Dewey will not work on this one, so yeah, it's a pretty solid one.
True.
Alors, the next one. That's a tough one actually. I would probably put it somewhere in playable. It's beautiful with the historical cam. I think it's one of the nicest ships. It's really lovely. But yeah, I wouldn't put it higher than that. You still have to get fairly close for comfort. And yeah, but it's a decent ship. It doesn't really do anything wrong, to be honest.
Out of that line, it's the most playable too. Like that entire grind is rough.
Yeah.
Besides Goliath, now Goliath is definitely a more of a competitive state. But yeah,
yeah,
like it's there.
No, fine with that.
Maggie.
Maggie has been buffed quite significantly. So I'll put it in playable easily as well, because
I'm gonna go in competitive.
Yeah.
It's actually a great sniper. I think people need to play it a little bit better. I think they think of it almost like this mid-range, and it's actually no, it's a long-range sniper. You gotta sit back, and you play it wrong, it sucks. But if you play it right, it can do some damage.
Now you can actually trade at range with it because it's much better protected than it used to be. Before that, it was like the worst survivability at tier 8, so you were really in a shit situation if you were caught in a fight with it. But now you can do it. So yeah, somewhere between playable and competitive for me. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, but unfortunately, the Black Maki just trades out the thing that it really wants for just reload and I think sonar. I think it is. It's kind of almost why. Like, I don't know, where'd you put it?
I'll probably put it in. I don't see a reason to spend money on it. I mean, to be honest.
I'd kind of agree with that.
So, yeah, I wouldn't put any money on it. Oh, yeah, that kind of settles it for me.
Yeah, should we just have a column of Dear God, why, and don't? Like, don't waste your money? I don't know.
If you look at the the Quickie Baby tier makers, he has a category like pay to lose. So it's not pay to lose, but it's pay for not much. So I think that's it. So yeah, I mean, in the end, whether it's black or premium, it's the same price tag. So
yeah,
that's kind of the issue I have with black ships.
Oh yeah,
Amalfi, it's definitely playable for me. Problem I have with it, it's kind of a DD hunter in a BB meta at tier 8. So yeah, typically you have 1 DD per game, maybe 2. So once you've dealt with it, then you're like, okay, what do I do between the Atlanticos, the Alabamas, and the whatever Warhammer events is happening?
Yeah, there's so many out there in Amalfi. Like the thing is, it's funny is that tier 10 is so just swamped with DDs, and tier 8 is just Battleship Haven. So it's like you don't really have the purpose at that one. But Black Malfi is a whole different other question, because now you can actually hunt those DDs much better. It's borderline, I would almost say niche, but it just offers a lot more, in my opinion. I don't know, what are your thoughts on the Black Malfi?
No, I agree. The reload thing, it's quite nice because you can really trash them on a very, very short notice. So yeah, it's quite nice. Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Anhalt. Did you like this ship? Do you like the Anhalt?
So I've played it in the meantime. I like it, actually. It's pretty decent. It's different enough from the other Germans. The 15 guns, they can actually hurt at range and at mid-range and at short range. So yeah, I don't know, somewhere between competitive and playable. Yeah, it's a good ship.
I go
It's a
solid
good ship.
meta.
It's different.
Or not solid meta. I'd go a solid competitive. It's got too many guns to not be a joy for a lot of different times at tier 8. It is. And it holds up against a lot of the Atlantico push. But, of course, Atlantico's Atlantico, We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
A few more. Asashio.
I'll probably put this one in niche because honestly, it's been kind of overshadowed by the Silimangi as a torpedo boat, as a pure torpedo boat. It's CV food, and essentially tier for tier, the Udachi is the better one. It's also cheaper. So if you're looking into that playstyle of I get close to a BB and I dump it, I trash it with my torpedo reload and buy the Udachi. There's not a lot of reasons to buy that thing now that the CD1 exists, to be honest. I mean, I think it gets quite long torpedo. I should check my stats sheet, but I think it gets something like 10 kilometers torpedo range, something like that.
It actually does have a good niche. I don't know if I would say Silwangi's better than it, but I would say that Asashio actually does. It does have that niche. It does have that capability of just dumpstering a battleship, which if you can dumpster an Atlantico, it's fun time.
But the thing is, if the Atlantico spots you, then you're in a really, really shitty situation. So it's like the 12 kilometers torpedoes, and at that range, you're gonna miss like 40% of them. So yeah, it's. I don't see any reason to spend money on this one, if I'm honest.
If you're wanting that Shimakaze style dumping capability, it's there. It's kind of there. I'd prefer the Kagro, but the Atlantico, I don't think we really need to talk much about this monster at tier 8.
I think we do, actually. I think we do because I've tested it after the nerf. So I test things, training room accuracy, real damage, etc. And they've really hit it very, very hard with the nerf hammer. When I calculate the DPM of all the tier 8s, it's the worst one. So it's at range, it's just completely inept. The problem is the definition of brawling with that thing, it starts at almost 12 kilometers. So if you get within 11 kilometers of it, you've got a British heavy cruiser on rapid reload that's dumping fire on you, and then if you get within 8 kilometers, you add a Benson on top of it. So it's still incredibly dangerous. It's not as stupid as it used to be, but it's still, as soon as you get within 10 kilometers of that thing, it's game over. And if you're a gunboat and you have to play that thing and you don't have any smoke, then you're really going to suffer. So yeah, it's still very annoying.
Yeah, it's just also a tanks. It's a tanky little boat. Like I've seen people take it in tier 10 matches and it still performs pretty well. It's luckily at least you can just lay down fires.
Calculated that, and to put things in perspective, let me just look it up. In terms of survivability, it's like 3 minute 30. So if you shoot at it straight, 3 minute 30 with an Alabama, it's going to die, which is kind of, I would say, upper tier at tier 8. So it's not as good as a Bismarck, but it's on par with Odin or Anhalt, for example. So it's pretty survivable, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's annoying.
Yeah, it's almost in every single match. We actually, yesterday, I did a 3 Paolo Emilio, and they beat us. It was just like 2 of them beat just 3 Paolo Emilios. We just couldn't even get to them. It was just like, come on.
It's still a shitty annoying ship. The next one, Parseval. Parseval, I'll put it in competitive, to be honest. I think it's probably I was going to be the most competitive Tech 3 CV, but there is another one which is in the meta. But it's still pretty good. It's fun to play. It's relatively flexible. So yeah, it's overall it's a good ship. It's really a good ship. So it's pretty solid.
It's a very aggressive carrier, and I love that app. Like it's kind of a cruiser with a flight deck, though I kind of still want manuals. I want Graf Zeppelin at tier 8. Still would love that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it makes it easier to play, because if you look at the Graf Zeppelin, it's I have no idea how I managed to pull. I think I have 1,000 battles in the Graf Zeppelin. I have no idea how I managed to play them, because it's such a complicated ship to play. This one, you just focus on your planes and the auto secondaries, boop, 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 and then you don't need to worry about anything. So it's a lot easier, and I think it's a great line. So a really good line.
Online feels, I wouldn't say balanced in terms of carriers, but it's like against other ones, it feels more balanced. It doesn't seem so annoying. Bayard.
Alors, Bayard. But if you know what you're doing, it's competitive, and if you don't, it's going to be playable.
Actually, if you don't know what you're doing, it's your god why, but yeah, I think it's competitive.
yeah, if you don't know what you're doing, you'll be going back to port after 2 minutes in half of your battles, so it's very tricky. I haven't purchased it yet, so maybe one day, but...
It's a fun boat.
Jokes aside, it's a pretty solid thing. If you want to get an idea of what that thing would be like, you can buy the grass for a lot less money, and you still get you can still get trashed after 2 minutes as well, just going to happen less often. So.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know, Bayard, I find it very it's a good ship to learn a lot of map positioning and capabilities with what it has, but it is also just very, it's easy to blow up.
No, I agree.
Belfast 43.
Yeah, that's easier. Huh? So you can put it next to the Atlantico, I think.
Yep.
So what does it have? So sonar, radar times 2, what else again? Smokes, yeah, of course, smokes.
Yep. Yeah, it's
why not?
Belfast tier 7 at tier 8 with torps and DFA. Yeah. I think it is. Yeah.
It still works. I mean, I just had a game with it this morning. Was the only ship in the center control area for almost all the game, managed to stay alive. Yeah, it's just what that thing does. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
no, it's dangerous.
Pretty meta. Yeah.
Yep. If you really want a boring cruiser at tier 8, Belfast 43 is for you. Yeah, it's freaking.
Alors, Benson, I would put it in playable if I'm honest, because it's still pretty decent. It's got a lot of firepower with the torpedoes. Good firepower with the guns. It's just very American, so you can't really hit anything that's destroyers past 6 kilometers. That's very frustrating. And you kind of have to throw money at it to make it work, because free to play, you don't get enough torpedo range. So yeah, for me, it's I will leave it at playable. It's still a fun ship to play. It's very, very American. All guns blazing, but yeah.
I'd also say that Benson, like, it's the standard DD for tier 8. Like, if you're going down a DD line, that entire line's just, hey, this is how you learn the basics of DD, in my opinion, and it's not bad, but it's not great either.
Kind of hybrid DD light cruiser. That's probably one of the best lines for that. I would say the standard for DD is probably more Japanese, but this thing it's still solid. It's just that it's not. It's a bit tricky to play in certain circumstances.
Now the version that has sonar.
The black one. That's a lot more. Yeah, that's competitive. You're trading your A for a sonar, if I'm not mistaken, and you get more torpedo range, like quite a lot more, like 300 meters. So that kind of fixes the issues of the Benson. So for me, it's competitive. Not higher because your guns are still shit, but
it can't go higher. Those guns, they're mortars.
Yeah, those guns. But concretely, you can stay the entire game in a cap with it and just be super annoying, because if you alternate the narrow spread and the wide spread with your torpedoes, you're just sending a wall of torpedoes in front of you, and anything that's stupid enough to get within 6 kilometers of you is going to get deleted by it. So it's I've had a few surprises with that thing.
Now Bismarck, the old one.
I still play it. I think it's still competitive, to be honest. It's just not competitive as a brawler, but it's just such a tank. You can really hold the flank on your own for quite a lot of time with that thing. It's really it's still solid. It's still solid. It's just that since the Atlantico came, and there are like thousands of brawlers now, so this one is the free one. Yeah. So that's why if you're looking for a free competitive brawler, there you go.
I'll agree with you. Bismarck also did get that buff a little while back, and I think some people need to go back to it and check it out again because it is quite a fun ship overall. And as you said, it can still hold a flank. You just obviously won't defeat it in Atlantico, but it will still give it health. So not the worst thing. But the black version gets the nice treatment, and that's totally meta. That is fantastic if you can pick it up, especially from the shipyard.
Yeah, the only problem is you really it's a little bit better now because you get more and more German ships with rapid reload. But when it came out, that was kind of the only one. So unless you had a dedicated commander for it, yeah, it was a bit tricky. But if you have a German rapid reload commander, then go ahead. This one is probably the only one that can outbrawl an Atlantico. Yeah.
And also you can still use any commander on it. And I know we actually talked about the black GK at tier 10, and we were actually like, hey, actually Honor Seeker really doesn't give you that much, so technically you could take rapid reload on your German commander and not really lose too much. So that's an option. Correct. So Borodino, another, I think, straight to meta. You with me on that one, or what's your thoughts on Borodino?
I actually would not put it in the meta. I've tested it. Did not really enjoy it that much, to be honest.
Incredibly tanky.
I think it's very strange because it's pretty accurate stock. I think it's it's second most accurate after Champagne. So it's really good range, etc. So decent DPM. But then they gave it, it's only got 6 gun and then secondaries at the back, so it's pretty useless at mid-range, short-range. And then you get a radar. I have no idea why, to be honest, because that's really like completely counterintuitive with that thing. So yeah, I'm not sure I would be spending money on this one, to be honest. I think if you're looking for a bow tanker, I much prefer the French one. Yeah.
I think you should relook at it. I think you should.
I did.
I think you're forgetting about the secondaries. They are insanely accurate. The entire thing is all about accuracy. And if you can just keep your range and do pretty decent on it, I'd actually say it's a better Richelieu. It's super, and it hits like a truck. Also, the HE is oddly good. I don't understand that one, but you can double tap the DDs if you get 2 salvos off on them. I'm like, why does the Borodino have good HE but Richie doesn't? I don't know. I can't keep track. But
there's quite a lot of them now. So yeah, I personally would put it a few steps below. But okay, we can agree to meet in the middle there. Yeah.
Well, low meta. We'll disagree on low meta. I don't know if we're exactly gonna shuffle everything around to our initial thoughts at the end of it all. But Borodino, I'd say it's definitely still pretty strong.
Yeah.
Then again, I do have Makarov, so that might help.
So the other one,
Brandenburg.
It's somewhere between competitive and playable. It's certainly not bad. Why would you pay for this one?
It's because you like the Pomeran style, or you like the Prussian style. That's really, if you like those styles better, you'll like the Brandenburg better. But
it's definitely not bad. It's enjoyable. It's quite fun to play. It's very German, so quite tanky. CV food. Voilà, we go with it.
It is CV food, but I wanted to rectify this because the Brandenburg enjoyers last year were like, whoa, you do not put that in playable. I was like, I tried it, and I was like, okay, I can see it. Not my favorite thing.
I think I put it in competitive last year, didn't I? I don't remember, to be honest, but it's certainly on the same space as the Bismarck, except you have to pay for this one. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.